Google places around 50% of ranking positions on this one factor, yet most local businesses either ignore it or approach it completely wrong. Today, we're breaking down exactly how the business at the top actually use it.
Two businesses, the same service, the same area, yet one dominates local search. The difference is almost always backlinks. And today we'll show you exactly how they're built. We're going to go through 17 practical backlink strategies that work right now, both in Google and in AI search, from the easy wins to the most advanced plays local businesses usually never touch. We're going to also talk honestly about some of the stuff people pretend doesn't happen in the SEO world.
Welcome back to the Marketing Podcast for Local Businesses, the show that gives you practical, proven marketing advice to help you grow your business right here in the UK. I'm Adam, founder of www.websitedesigners.london. We've helped businesses generate tens of millions online through smarter design and marketing.
And my name's Josh. I'm the founder of ImproveMySearchRanking.com, specialist SEO agency based in London. We've worked with over 400 businesses, helping them generate well over £200 million in sales.
So, why backlinks matter and still matter for local SEO? Let's start here. Google Business Profile optimization is important, but it's a necessity. It's table stakes. Every competitor in your area will have a Google Business Profile, will have reviews, will have the same services, and will cover the same location. So how does Google decide who to actually rank? That's the million-dollar question. The answer is backlinks. But what is a backlink, Josh?
So a backlink is simply a link from one website, another website, to your own website that acts as a trust signal, telling search engines that your site is credible and worth ranking. Simply put, you can think of a backlink like a vote of confidence. The more votes you have, the more votes your website has, the higher Google will rank your business. So backlinks are still super important as of today in 2026. They prove legitimacy, they reinforce relevance, and they separate you from identical competitors. So with your local SEO strategy, you need to ensure you're getting backlinks every single month.
Absolutely. So tip number one on getting backlinks is our local directories. Foundations, not the strategy. Local directories still matter, just not in the way people think. I'm talking about chambers of commerce, council business listings, local business associations, town-specific directories. These are foundational links. You do them once, do them properly, and then you move on. If you're still paying for bulk citation services every month, you're likely wasting money, to be honest with you.
Yes, I would agree. So number two strategy is to use niche directories. So these are often a lot more powerful than the local ones we just spoke about. Niche directories could include industry registers, professional associations, trade bodies, and are often seen as being more powerful from an SEO standpoint. The reason being is because they are more topically relevant to what you're doing as a business. They're editorially controlled and they're much harder to fake. So one good niche directory link can outperform, say, 5 to 10 local citation backlinks. And a lot of these links also come bundled with memberships to organizations that you should probably have as a business, as a local business anyway. So an easy way to actually go and find these niche directories right now is to simply head on over to Google and type in this exact phrase. So you want to type the speech mark symbol in, and then you want to type in your exact service. So for example, it might be SEO services, and then put the word directory, and then put, again, end the speech marks, press enter. You should then get a list of websites, or you will get a list of websites that offer that as a service, essentially.
Amazing. Third, supplier and partner links. This is one that's criminally underused. Suppliers love showcasing customers. I mean, why wouldn't they? Think about wholesalers, manufacturers, software providers, industry platforms. So look for pages like approved partners, who we work with, customer stories. These links actually scale as your business grows because they're incredibly clean from an SEO point of view. So for example, if you're a baker and you're buying a ton of specific icing because you're specializing in organic baking and it's this kind of very new niche or kind of growing icing company, reach out to them and say, hey, I use it. My customers love it. Would you mind writing something? Would you like me to provide you a testimonial so you can put it on your website? Happy days.
Excellent. So number 4 is client case study links. So this one is one of the most natural types of backlinks you could ever earn. You simply feature a client that you do work with, you show their results, and you publish a nice case study on your website. Then what happens? So the customer that you have written a case study about will obviously be quite happy and delighted about the fact that you're operating their business, as long as you've done a good job and they like what you're doing. So they'll be inclined to share it and to link to it from their own website, from their own blog, from their own social media channels, and to list you as a partner or supplier on their website. So this will give you a variety of ways of getting backlinks that are contextual, commercial, and relevant. All things Google loves.
Absolutely. Number 5, testimonials for local businesses. So this is one of the easiest backlinks out there. So write a testimonial for businesses you actually use. So the accountants you use, the builders you might use, the software providers you may use, your landlords, your venues. For example, let's say you are a photographer. You've taken some great photography of a wedding couple, a couple at a wedding, and the venue, contact them and say, hey, use your venue. Got some photos as well. Fancy listing me as one of your, I know I've done a great job of taking some photos of your venue. Maybe would you mind listing me, listing a testimonial for my services? That's a bit of an indirect testimonials. So for example, let's say you're a baker, you use some niche software, or you use accounting software, or even the accountants that use the software. So for example, use Accounting ABC Limited to do your company accounts. Maybe just ask them to just say, hey, I use your services, happy to provide a good word about your business. Feature me on your website. Happy days. Most will happily add your name, your business, and a link. Don't use them. Don't reach out to people or ask people to list your testimonial if you don't actually use the business or service. A good testimonial is one of the lowest effort, highest return backlinks available, and people will be surprised, the companies will be surprised that you even reach out to them.
Exactly. So number 7 is sponsoring local teams and events. So this is something I've done quite often, and it's worked really well for my business.
We are number 6 now.
Are we on 6? Sorry.
Accounting is not particularly great.
So number 6 is sponsoring local teams and events. So this is a nice. It feels like a nice thing to do as well, actually. So you can find local football teams, local schools, any type of local event that's happening in the business community, and you can reach out to those people and ask them if they're willing to take sponsorship. Most of them are. A lot of them advertise the fact they're looking for sponsors, and often they bundle in a page or a link to your website, essentially from their website. So it's a super easy way to get backlinks. It's fairly cheap, but it can be expensive depending on who you're going to work with. I actually inquired with a few Premier League football teams. I was interested to see, what's the cost, and the minimum cost was like £2,000, and that was to kind of link to one of their players' profiles rather than sponsoring obviously the whole team. That'd be hundreds of thousands of pounds probably. So that was one idea. We actually made a list of all the local teams and looked at their websites, looked at their domain authorities, and then kind of worked out which ones would be good ones to get backlinks from, and reached out to a few. And we got a link from Sunday League football team, from another football team, and also from a local school, which all helped with our domain authority and backlink profile. So yeah, that's another way, is to get some trust, authority, and brand recognition is to sponsor local teams and events.
One thing to mention there, you might only get the backlink for a year if it's a year-long sponsorship. But if they create a dedicated page and they don't delete, here are 2026 sponsors, and they don't delete that page and they just create a new page for 2027 sponsors, you'll have that link for life. So it will depend on how they manage their backlinks. So number 7, the true number 7, local charity involvement. This is different from sponsorship. This is about ongoing support, pro bono services, volunteering, fundraising. And these links tend to be highly trusted, genuinely local, and extremely natural. They're not scalable, but they are powerful. Look, just to recap here, what we're talking about is being involved in a local charity, offering your services, and maybe the charity kind of gives you a backlink, right?
Yeah. Number 8 is building linkable assets on your website. So this one is a bit more difficult and a bit more time consuming. And you may be wondering what a linkable asset is actually. So a linkable asset could be a variety of things. So it could be simply developing something really useful that's on your website other people want to link to. So that might be a really in-depth, super detailed guide on whatever your service may be that goes above and beyond what's available online currently, something super resourceful. It might be using your own first-party data that you recorded over the last many years of being a business. So say, for example, you were a baker and you've been in business for 100 years and you've got, a database almost built up of, the most popular types of
Victoria Sponge.
yeah, or wherever it may be. So you can create maybe you can use AI here as well to input your data and help it, and AI will help you create these ideas. But you have different tables. The most popular cake on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The most popular sandwich, the most popular type of breads, or whatever it may be. You can come up with some interesting data points, and that will be really useful for journalists and the like, and local people, and they might want to link to that from their own websites.
Sure. Number 9, building tools to attract links. So tools are where backlink strategies level up. So think about SEO profit calculators or cost estimators, ROI tools, compliance checkers. These tools work so well because journalists cite them sometimes, bloggers reference them, councils and organizations sometimes link to them. A good tool is a backlink machine you build once and profit them for the years. You can even capture people's emails in there as well. We used to have a page for creating an SEO audit. The SEO, the user inputs their website and their email address, and then that automatically provides them with a audit. We've captured their potential customer, and sometimes, so that's kind of a two-pronged approach. Future customers, but also sometimes people link to them as well.
Cool. Number 10 is creating local awards and badges. So this is a bit of an interesting one. We worked on this kind of strategy a few years ago for one of our customers, and they were a skiing company, a ski holiday company, and they worked with various chalets and hotels all over the Alps and I guess France and Switzerland and those kind of countries. Can't remember exactly the exact details now, but we invented this, basically the top 10 awards, and we had like gold, silver, bronze levels, and we awarded these chalets and hotels these awards that were kind of a bit somewhat made up, but somewhat based on the quality of what they heard from their customers. And they would then place those, they would be happy to receive that award, and they would place that on their website, and it would link back to the skiing holiday company's website saying they've been awarded the gold hotel award, wherever it may be. And that was a kind of nice way to get some backlinks. So you could do that locally as well. So you could think about, you could create the top 10 restaurants in Mayfair, and then you can put the top 10 local companies in there and ask they might backlink back to you.
Happy days. Number 11, job boards. These are often overlooked. So local and industry job boards are gold mines. People tend to ignore not the listings, but it's the employer profile. So when you list a profile, for let's say when you want to list a vacancy on a job board, you need to create a profile. That profile sometimes creates a backlink to your website. So these reinforce location relevance, hiring legitimacy, and business authenticity. And as I said, they often come with a nicely trusted link.
Tactic number 12 is one that might put you out of your comfort zone a little bit. So this is about becoming an event speaker. So if you can become an event speaker, you're going to be creating all sorts of excellent backlinks. So you're going to be linked on panels, meetups, business breakfasts, conference websites, podcast websites, and you often have a speaker profile on these pages. They often mention in event recap pages. You're mentioned in all sorts of different places. So this is, again, something I've done in the past where I kind of paid to be, I paid to have a exhibition. Is it called a stand exhibition?
Yeah.
At the called the Business Show. Apparently it's the biggest business event in Europe. And I think I spent £2,000 maybe on it. And as part of that package, you get to speak at the show. So then I was a speaker at Europe's biggest business show. And off the back of that, I got a backlink from their website, saying this is what my talk's going to be about. Here's a link to his website. And actually off the back of that, I got paid to speak about a week later. Someone paid me, I think it was £300 or £400 for like a half an hour talk, which is pretty cool.
Very cool.
As well as getting a backlink, you might get some
Business.
business as well.
Amazing. Number 13, outreach to target sites. Yes, manual outreach still works here, but only when it's done properly. So you're targeting local blogs, industry sites, partners, suppliers. And what works is the personalization when you outreach to them, clear value that you're offering them, and referencing existing content on their website already. What doesn't work is just mass emails, writing an email and then popping everyone in a BCC line, which isn't very personalized. Any generic pictures don't work. So if you wouldn't reply to it, neither will they. That's a good kind of rule of thumb.
Cool. Tactic number 14 to get backlinks is unlinked brand mention. So this is one of the easiest ones out there. This is where you simply search to find online your business and where it's mentioned somewhere and check to see if there's a backlink or not. So if there's not a backlink there, then you can reach out to that individual, the editor, the author, the journalist, the website owner, and ask them, you've mentioned my business here. Thank you very much for that. But I noticed there's not a backlink. Would you mind adding a backlink to my website? And that will often convert very well. It's kind of low-hanging fruit. Again, what you can do here to find these is you head over to Google and type in your brand name, but put your brand name in speech marks and press enter. And that will then bring up various websites that mention your brand. You can go through those one by one.
Absolutely. Another key way there as well, creating a Google alert.
Yes.
So just popping in the name of your company, so websitedesigners.london, in a Google alert. If you just type in Google alert and just Google, and then every time someone mentions that brand, you get an email and then you can reach out to them. Tactic number 15, digital PR and journalist outreach. This is a top tier backlink territory and it's free. So think local data stories, expert commentary, trend analysis, reactive PR. It's powerful because it tends to be highly authoritative, and brand searches. And also it builds long-term trust signals. One good PR link can outweigh a dozen of average ones, and it's free, as I said. Reach out to journalists and essentially say, hey, I'm happy to provide an expert perspective. The one thing to note is you might find yourself spending hours writing 100 emails with no reply because they probably receive tons of them.
Tactic number 16 is buying guest blogs. So this is perhaps controversial, but here's our kind of honest take on the matter. So let's be real, everybody knows it. People buy links. And yes, it can work pretty well. It can also tank your SEO too. So you need to consider the following rules when looking to do so. So first and foremost, is the site you're buying a link from, does it have some sort of relevance? Is the article contextually relevant to what your business does? Obviously, you try to avoid any kind of what are called PBNs, private networks, and also blend with earned links too. So don't want to just buy these guest blogs. You want to be doing some of the other 16, 15 types of backlinks we were speaking about today as well. So buying links isn't a sin. It does work to some degree, but make sure you don't buy bad guest blog posts.
Finally, tactic number 17, buying press releases. Press releases alone are not an SEO strategy. And what press releases are essentially, you probably always see them online. Not always seen them. You've probably seen them online, whereby someone releases a product, say the new Apple iPhone, and then that gets sent to BBC News, Guardian, and all other news sources. Essentially, what Apple is doing is releasing is a press release because they're advertising a new product that they've released, or launching. Now, you don't have to be launching a new product or a new service. It can just be, here are the services of websitedesigners.london. That said, most syndication links, press releases, are weak and they're what we call a no follow, i.e. they link. It might be a link there, but it tells Google that it shouldn't be given the credit of a backlink that will improve your ranking. And press releases also, a lot of people use them, and so they're ignored. And they're not really picked up by BBC News because the BBC wouldn't be really interested in websitedesigners.london offering a great SEO service as a press release. I'm sure they'll be interested in our service because we're just amazing. But when combined with real outreach and PR, they can support visibility and credibility.
Awesome. So, in closing, here's the framework to remember. The best local backlinks do three things. They reinforce location, they reinforce relevance, and they reinforce legitimacy. If your backlinks don't do at least one of those, they're probably not worth doing at all.
Absolutely. So let's quickly just round up 1 to 17. Local directories, niche directories, supply and partner links, client case study links, testimonials for local businesses, sponsoring local teams and events, local charity involvement, building linkable assets on your website, building tools to attract links. 10 is creating local awards. 11, job boards. 12, event speaker links. 13, outreach to target sites. 14, unlinked brand mentions. 15, digital PR and journalist outreach. 16, buying guest blogs. 17, buying press releases. Thank you very much for listening. Give us 5 stars. It always helps us get found by other local businesses. Just please comment as well. That also helps. And follow along. Thank you for listening.